So what did you say to me the other day? You quoted a line and I said we have to use that because it's really important. What was it? The quote?
Comparison is the theft of joy.
That was the one. And I said, that just sums up so much stuff. Comparison is the theft of joy.
It's fairly powerful, actually.
It is. And I think we need to talk about it, especially when you're over 50. You do that a lot, don't you, when you're like younger? The comparison. I want to talk about something else in just a second. You're just trying to have to live up to expectations, don't we? We fall into this trap when we're younger.
I think now, in this day and age, even more than ever.
I was gonna say, we were out the other day. We're just down the road at the beach. We've got we call it our One Life Lookout, where it's a really nice platform that overlooks the sea. And we were just chilling out, having a chat, and then this girl came down. Well, it was a father and there was two girls. I reckon one was about 10, the other one must have been 14. And they were just doing these like parade videos of themselves. And it was just, I found it quite sinister, to be honest. I
think, do you know, how can you put it? Like, I think I'm glad I'm 50 plus. I think the pressure on people nowadays, like, you know, but even at our age, you know, it's who's got the biggest car, the flashiest watch, you know, Botox to the hilt, and etc., etc. Where does that fit in your life? Does that make you any happier? I mean, we're living in Spain. We have a lot less than we used to have, as in possessions.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem necessary, in my opinion. We're just having such a lovely life. And, you know, ordinary things like the other day we found this fantastic little shop. It was like a delicatessen, but you could pop in and have some ham and cheese and stuff like that. And it was just something probably quite ordinary, but you know what? It's extraordinary. It was so nice. We take such pleasure in the simple things in life. Just being able to enjoy where we live, enjoy our surroundings, enjoy each other, and without the facelift. I mean, yes, that would be nice, but hey.
I'm way past that. That ship sailed.
And, you know, I think I'm glad I'm not so young, or I'm not caught up in that. But that's what society seems to dictate now.
A couple of things there, right? When you said we have less material possessions than we had, when we decided to move where we live now, that was kind of a necessity because we had so much stuff we couldn't fit it in the place where we wanted to live because we love the location here. So we had to actually get rid of a load of stuff, and we were talking about that the other day, about downsizing and how cathartic that is anyway. But then when you get rid of all that stuff, you realise it's just meaningless. And you can hang on to it for comparison's sake, so that when you do go to these places and you feel not worthy, or, you know, people have got more than you, this is when you fall back into the trap. But because we got rid of it, there's no trap to fall into. As Jules said, we go to these little delis and stuff, and you know, people that we've been around in a previous life wouldn't be seen dead in these places. But it's about simplification and we don't really care. We don't really care what people think anymore. And I was the worst one for that. I was always having to have, like, you know, I had the Porsche and all that stuff. But when you're over 50, if you're still in that trap, it's just going to drain the life out of you, don't you think? And you just said that, I'm glad I'm over 50 and I kind of don't care so much now.
I think it must be tough on the really young ones because there's just so much social pressure.
But people over 50 do it.
Yes, they do.
And that's the point of this, isn't it? You know, is breaking free from that trap.
Yeah, and
because what's the line? Just quote the line again. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely, and it's, you know, like whether you've got designer labels or designer this, designer that. Yeah, you know, the pictures you see in the media, half the women are airbrushed, or you've got to be the perfect size 6 or something like that. No, you just need to be you. Just get off this social media treadmill. You know, you could be having a really good day and then you're scrolling through Facebook or whatever, and then you're like, oh my God, You know, like, oh, I wish I was that beautiful, or I wish my hair was that colour or that long, or I don't know. But get off that treadmill, because it's not healthy.
It's not, and I use this a lot when I'm coaching people as well. The person in the mirror is the one we give the hardest time to, right? We don't want to look in the mirror in the morning because, well, I don't want to look at me, right? It's utter BS, right? Because if we can't be our own advocate, how are we going to get on in life?
Our own authentic self.
Exactly, right? Rather than going, oh, I don't like that, and I need to dress up. It's about when you actually stop giving a monkeys, right, and just start living your life. And I don't mean just being, obtuse about it. But if you could see down below my waist right now, I'm in shorts that are hanging in pieces. I call them my Robinson Crusoe shorts, right? And I love them, right? Jules goes mad because I always wear them, but they're comfy and I really don't care, right? I'm not going to go out in them because we do, we make an effort. We're about to go out now. But if we just stop beating up ourselves and comparing ourselves to other people, your life will be so much better. We haven't got time for this, basically, have we, over 50?
And, we see it a lot, Andrew and I do not buy each other birthday presents or Christmas presents. We haven't done for a very, very long time because I don't need another designer pair of sunglasses. He doesn't need another designer pair of shorts. Well, maybe you do.
I do, but they're out to be designer.
And do you know what? We buy each other experiences, and it is the most wonderful thing, like going off on a trip to Cadiz or going to Seville, or just the other day we went exploring in our local area. We've only been here in this particular area since May, so there's quite a lot that we haven't covered really. And we just walked and found some fantastic places, and just really enjoyed each other's company. And as I said, what could sound normal or ordinary becomes extraordinary because it becomes so special.
When it's Jules' birthday, right, she gets these calls and says, what did you get for your birthday? And on one of them, I took a bird watching ride. It was a bit more than just watching sparrows in a hedge, right? But there's this migration of the birds of prey that come over the Straits of Gibraltar, yada, yada, yada. But we wanted to see them because they're an amazing spectacle.
Yeah, it was
incredible. But we ended up, right, sitting in a field surrounded by cow shit, right? And there were sheep and cows walking past us. And we're having this picnic, weren't we?
Yeah.
And we had the time of our lives, didn't we?
And goats.
And goats and everything, right?
But watching all these stunning, massive birds fly across the Straits. It was just such an experience. But well, there we were. So the tour came with a little picnic, and they brought out a bottle of cava and stuff like that. So we're sitting there with the binoculars, watching the birds, but surrounded by cows, pigs.
And stuff.
There were some wild boars, actually, because we had to protect the picnic from them.
But this is the point, right? We're not talking about we had dinner in a 5-star Michelin restaurant. We're talking about sitting in a field watching birds, and it was just the best day ever, wasn't it?
It was.
We didn't care what anybody thought. We weren't comparing ourselves. We didn't think, well, I've got to take Jules to a restaurant to tick the box for when people ask. It was like, we don't do that anymore. We just go, we do what we want to do, and our life's amazing for it, isn't it?
That's another one. So just going to add this in. For my 50th, we were away. We were in Portugal at the time, weren't we? And everybody was saying, what did Andrew get you? Where did you go? What did you do? And we said, we stayed in. We stayed in, and we had a fire pit, because it was quite cool in the evening, a fire pit on the terrace, and we had a bottle of cava on the terrace and just looked at the sunset.
And we were happy.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was the question. That was people asking Jules, is that all he got you?
That's what I wanted to do. Exactly
that. So guys, you've got to get out of this comparison trap, the expectations of others. It's just rubbish, because it puts you in a cage, in a box that you're having to perform for the people. So that's what this one's about. It's about what Jules said, comparison is the thief of joy. And if you can remember that each day, when you may be being a little bit harder to yourself or thinking, I need to do that because it's what people expect, it doesn't matter. You have to live your life. We haven't got time to be messing about and performing for others or comparing ourselves to others, right? Because the days just go too quickly now.
It's about expectation, isn't it? But just be you. Be your authentic self, and that's That's just one of the most important things, I think.
Well, we put ourselves under that pressure as
Yeah.
people, right? So
Yeah, we do.
it's up to us to go, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to stop caring what people think, and I'm going to do what I want to do and how I feel. Because otherwise you're living their lives, they're controlling your lives otherwise.
And do you know what? I think you'll be surprised. Nobody will be any different to you, just you will feel different.
And here's the thing, we'll finish on this, right? Here's what people don't realise. No one else cares because they're worried about what other people are thinking about them. Think about that, right? They're not sitting there waiting for you. They're not up before you in the morning waiting for you to see what you look like and what you're wearing. They've got enough stuff going on in their own minds. So just do what you want, right? We haven't got time for this. Sound good?
Good.
Lunch. Better go and change my shorts.